Hi, I'm June and welcome to Beautiful Stretches Level 1. Beautiful Stretches has been designed to help you establish a stretching program that can be used on its own or included into your weekly exercise activity. The stretches are based on the principles of dynamic and static stretching. In dynamic stretching, the movements flow, while in static stretching, the movements are held for a short period. Stretches will include areas for the shoulders, the back, legs, hips, and your feet. Some equipment will be necessary to help with comfort levels. For example, a mat. The thickness of the mat will depend on your personal comfort. A blanket. This can be used for seated positions, positions that will offer you some head support. The one that I've got here is quite thick, but again, it's something that you can decide upon. This piece of equipment is called the balance pad, and it's actually made from foam. So either one or the other will be good. Before we begin, please take a moment to read through the safety information. The floor warm-ups are designed to help prepare your body as well as your mind. Please remember, never miss your warm-up exercises. They are crucial in preparing your muscles. Work slowly and feel the sensations of the movement. It's important that you don't also hold your breath. The breathing is vital. It allows you to relax a little more. We begin by sitting tall and just walking your feet in towards your body as you wrap your arms around the legs and feel the sensations of the spine extending upward firmly here. So here you may find it a little bit more comfortable to have a folded blanket underneath your bottom. But if not, just holding it right here, grounding up through your feet, and we release. Now take your feet slightly forward, have your knees pointing upright, scoop your abdominal muscles in, contract as you lower yourself down sequentially through the spine. Walk your feet in. And then just take a few deep breaths as you allow the muscles to settle over the curves of the spine. Feel the bony landmarks that are in contact with the floor. Hips, back, shoulders, feet, arms. Give your hips a little bit of a shake there as you shake away any unnecessary tension. And then just allow yourself to release. Now begin by holding your knees in towards your chest, noticing how that lower back comes in contact with the mat. Remember again, just breathe easy, allow yourself to relax. And then now we move into small circles with our hips, gradually making them a little bit wider. Find a breathing pattern that suits you. You may wish to inhale through your nose, out through your mouth, or breathe through your nose and out through your nose. A little pause, and then let's go around the other direction. Small circles to begin with. and releasing it here. Continue to hold on to one leg as you let the other leg glide down to the floor. Drag the foot in, take your hands across, and breathe. Release. Exhale as you let the leg extend away. There should be no tension across your neck or your shoulders. Eyes are soft. Unclench your jaw and relax that space between the eyebrows. Once again, inhale and we exhale. Release, placing your feet on the ground. Now it's time to just warm up a little through our shoulder area. So start by taking your arms up to resemble the letter T. Look at your both hands to ensure they're evenly positioned and they're no higher than your shoulders. You're going to take your arms and give yourself a really big hug there, taking your hands right down into that shoulder blade. Breathe. As you breathe out, open your arms again without arching your back. Wrap the arms around the body again, alternating that top arm. And open. Again, wrap yourself around. Big hug here. Now that should feel quite nice through that upper back area. And stretch and open. Last one. Big hug. Alternating the arm placement. And release. Now return the arms to the side. We're going now to work through the legs. Flex the foot, little pause, just a medium resistance, gently point it and slide that leg in. Now if it makes it more comfortable for you to put some socks on, that should be fine. We flex the foot, drag it in and stay here. Let's try the other leg again, gently slide, medium resistance as we flex there. Stretches and strengthening exercises for the lower leg muscles are important for everyday activities. And again, and point, little flex, and a point, and return. Now let's just give those legs a little rest as we move once again into the shoulder area. I'm going to take both arms up and really notice your range of movement here. As your arms gravitate to the back, are you starting to flare and lift those ribs up? This should be avoided. Just let your ribs settle back into the ground and your arms will come back to wherever they need to be. Arms back by your side. And again, stretch those arms over without force. And return to the side. Good. And how's the breath going? We inhale as we take the arms over the head. Good. And exhale. Once more, breathe in as you stretch and reach over the head and release to the side. Now we start to coordinate the movement, so it will be the arm and leg, seeing that you're working in opposition. It'll be your right arm and left leg that extends. Your pelvis is nice and square and return. Let's do the other side. Stretch and lift and return to the other side. Again, reach it over. Again, avoid that overarching of the back. And release. So just let your shoulders only go where they can possibly go to. Reach it up. And we release. Now take those knees into the chest. In a moment, we'll be rolling ourselves up to a seated position. We're going to take a breath in, and as you breathe out, lift yourself up. So we've come up to where we started from. Walk your feet in towards your bottom. Wrap your arms firmly around the legs as you start to lengthen the spine again. And in a moment, we'll be coming up to a standing position to commence your standing warm-ups. Before we begin our standing warm-ups, it's crucial that you find that alignment through your body, that sense of balance. I'm going to demonstrate the incorrect, a typical way that one would stand in a poor posture. The typical poor posture is ones where the hips are being pushed forward. In this position, the abdominal muscles are actually weakened. There's a lot of tension in our lower back, and the buttock muscles are not firing as well as they should be. Notice how my hips are being pushed forward, which puts a tremendous amount of strain in our legs. The knees are then locked back, and your sense of weight have shifted forward over your toes. There's a tendency for the neck to also push forward to compensate that faulty alignment. Ideally, you want to be standing so your weight is even between the front and the back of your feet. Your ear is level with your shoulder, shoulder with hip, and that line runs right down to the center. So practice good posture in order to get the most out of your alignment. We're going to begin by just having your feet about hip distance apart. So in my case, that's about 2 fist distance between my ankles. Look down at your feet to ensure that your toes are tracking forward, your arches are gently lifted, and those bony landmarks in our ankles are in line. Be careful not to be locking your knees back, so just take a moment to establish your base support. Shoulders are down and level. What we're going to be doing is going through a few warm-up exercises for the lower leg, the hips, as well as the entire upper body. So sinking down easy on top of your feet. Your knees are tracking over your second and third toe. And drawing up again, not locking back into the knees. Be certain to keep your breathing soft. Abdominal connection is made here to help support the back. And sinking. Release. So to really feel the sensations of the movement, pressing it down. And release. Once again, as we melt over the 4 corners there. And release. Now we're going to have a little bit of a turn out here, so you find that perfect V. Heels are together, your inner thigh muscles are zipped up, and there's an external rotation going on through your hips. Again, go easy with this one, especially as there's evidence of hip stiffness in your body. So we want those knees tracking over your second and third toe again. Remain comfortable. If any pain is felt, back off. Ease it off on the body. Good. Let's go again, just warming up into the muscles of the lower leg. And the last one, little press. And pulling up as though you're zipping up through those inner thighs. Take your feet apart again. Now watch this next one before you do. Arms long by your side, tight through your powerhouse. We're going to gently rise up on the balls of our feet. A little bit of weight even over the big toes. And then down you come. And let's try it again. Inhale as you come up. And exhale. Again, we don't want to go to the maximum. Just a nice medium range of movement, lifting up, and down you come. Last one, arms are steady and long by your side, lift, and lower. Now let's try that in that turnout position again. Okay, a sense of really zipping up through those inner legs. And we inhale, your ankles will separate, your heels will come apart. Exhale as we lower. Now imagine you're balancing a book over the top of the head, so that sense of holding the head up nice and tall to get those neck muscles in their ideal position. Once again, lift and hold, and release down. Now it's time to move through some fluid movements. So have your feet hip distance apart again. Interlace the fingers. We inhale, exhale, rotate your palms forward and scoop your abdominal muscles in, shoulders down. Breathe as you open your arms to the side and release them down. Interlock again. Exhale as we hollow through the abdominals. Stretch and open your arms and down to your side. How's that posture going again? Exhale and scoop. Open your arms not too wide and release. Once again, deepen up that hollow. Really bend down into those legs, flexing through that trunk. Open your arms as you stretch out through your chest and release. Now take your feet out a little bit wider, so outside your center of your support. This time we're going to just bend and work our waist muscles. We're going to stretch and lift the right arm up. Soften your knees as we flex over. Breathe to the center and releasing it down. That left arm climbs up, hold steady through that side. Soften your knees as we flex over. So keep your hips nice and centered. Reach up to that vertical line and release. Inhale. Soft down and we flex. Breathe, release. Last one. Reach it up. Exhale, flex. Inhale to the center and take it down. Now scoop and move the arms forward. Draw back through the shoulder blades. Exhale as we hollow. So you notice now the leg muscles are working a little harder as we sink down through those legs and draw it in. Inhale. Exhale. Allow the soles of your feet to spread out. Breathe and breathe it out. Now we cross the arms in front of the body and we open wide again. Cross and open. Scoop and hollow. Big stretches felt through the front of your chest. Scoop and hollow. And release. And let's take that last stretch as we go over. We circle the arm around the body. Take this arm up and over and we flex and circle it around the body. Again, inhale, exhale, flex and turn. Last one, breathing in and breathing out, flex and turn. Now take your feet back to the center, finding that sense of alignment. Good. Arms long by your side. Head comes back slightly and take a moment to establish your centering, finding that balance. Let's give your arms and legs a little bit of a shake. It's time now for us to be coming back onto the floor, and the first position will be a kneeling position. Now here is where, if you find that your knees simply feels uncomfortable, kneeling on a hard surface, a blanket is really useful in cushioning up those knees, certainly making the exercises a lot more comfortable. Let's pop that to one side for a moment, and let's bring yourself onto your hands and knees. These stretches will involve areas of the hips, as well as the sides of the body and your shoulders. Again, your posture is important to maximize the stretches and to allow your muscles to work in a more efficient manner. Whenever you're kneeling, prevent the head from sagging forward and dropping into your shoulders. Remain nice and tall and strong through your upper body. Your chin is slightly down towards your chest and your eye level is just ahead of your hands. Your arms are positioned beneath your shoulders and your legs are beneath your hips. Encourage your ankles to have a little bit of a stretch, to have your toes behind you. But if it feels uncomfortable, certainly have your toes back this way. We'll begin with flexion and extension of the spinal muscles. Using your breath, you're going to inhale, and as you breathe out, scoop, initiating the curve from the muscles of the lower back. Just dropping that tailbone of yours down and running that curve right up to the area of the back, allowing the head to hang forward. Breathe in as you extend and move your chest forward. Again, try not to sink into your shoulders, dropping through your arms. Keep those abdominal muscles connected. And as we breathe out, we initiate the curve from the muscles of the lower back. We call this the cat stretch. Inhale again. And exhale as we draw and hollow through those abdominal muscles. And breathe. Inhale, moving your chest forward. And breathing out as your eye gaze drops down towards your hands. Once more, inhale, gently move your eye gaze forward. And exhale as we work through that cat stretch again. Now the next area is stretching through the muscles of the hips, but before we do that, I'd like you just to stretch and hips back towards your feet, allowing your arms to extend out in front of you. Have your fingers just coming a little bit off the mat and pressing the center of the palms down. You should feel a nice stretch through the muscles along the sides of the body. Then bring yourself down onto your elbows, ensuring that your elbow position is lined up with the width of your shoulders. Again, here we want good support for the muscles of the abdomen and the back, so navel into the spine. Taking one leg behind you, gliding those toes down, and extend the hips. You'll feel the stretch through the front of the hips. Breathe in, coming down, and try to keep your hips as square as possible. Breathing out as you brace strongly over your arms. Keep your chest lifted. Inhale. Exhale as we move the leg behind our body. So whenever the leg is being moved behind the body, it's called an extension. And breathing out, toning up those hips as well. Release down. Glide that foot in so that knee comes back under the hips. Let's try that on the other side. Stretch first, so your 5 toes, imagine they're drawing a line. Extend up. Continue to protect your back by pulling your tummy in and down. And up again. The head is held up nice and high. And down. Good. Keeping your hips square, and we lift. And down. Once more, you'll notice some strength work going on here through your upper body. And release. Now let's take a stretch back. Arms are long, fingers open wide. And allow your head just to rest down into that little stretch. So let's repeat the whole thing again with the emphasis this time on our ankles. So bring yourself down on towards your arms again. Strong through the muscles of the upper body. Taking one leg behind us. Flex the foot as we bring that leg up. And point it. And coming down. First we reach to extend the hip. Flex. Point. And down. Just go easy on those dorsiflexion and plantar flexion, the movement of your ankle, particularly if you're susceptible to any type of cramping around your feet. And down you come. Take it back. Before we do the other side, a little bit of a stretch in between. Arms long, head tall. Coming forward again, let's come down onto your arms, scooping up through your abdominal muscles, taking the other leg behind you, keeping your hips square. And we reach, gently flex, point, and down. Hold strong through your upper body and reach first, flex, point, and down. Keep the breathing soft and reach, flex, and point, and down you go. Another little stretch back. This time allow your knees just to come out a little bit wider. Continue to slide your arms forward, and if you wish, have a little bit of support under your head. Otherwise, just allow your head to just release through your arms. A few deep breaths here. Now we take one hand, place it over the other as you feel that stretch working more towards one side of the body. So one hand over the other, keeping your head down through your arms. And take that stretch across to the other side, one hand over the other. And just sinking through back through that hip. And releasing it here. Now bring yourself up to a sitting position. And we're now going to be moving into some seated stretch. Before we do so, walk your feet in towards your body, wrap your arms once again around your legs, sit tall for a moment, and just be well centered. We now begin to work into some seated stretches. You may find it more comfortable to be seated on a blanket. So in this position, we're going to start to learn to sit cross-legged. So placing your blanket firmly or a foam support. In seated cross-legged, the hips get a bit of a stretch here. But often when your hips and your back muscles are tight, it's fairly unpleasant on your body after a while. You may need 2 blankets. I'm just going to turn to the side so you can just see the position that your spine needs to be in. So in cross-legged, if you're noticing any stiffness or tightness through your back, you're likely to be in a slumped position. This is certainly not ideal, and it puts a tremendous amount of strain on the muscles of your lower back and the joints as well. So build up your support. You may need an extra blanket just to bring those hips up, your ankles across, and just as we demonstrated in our standing posture, your shoulders are over your hips and your head position is on the center of the body. Here your back muscles are activated as well as your abdominal muscles. So you can practice seated cross-legged with your back against the wall, just to get you into that sense of what you need to do, where your muscles need to be feeling the actual workout. So now we're going to start with those stretches. In this movement, we're going to have the soles of the feet together. Now, if it's not comfortable around your hips, you may need a couple of pillows underneath your knees. Interlace your hands. You're going to breathe in, continue to monitor the positioning of your spine. Exhale, stretch your arms away, separating your hands, and just allow your hips to hinge forward without rounding your back. Hold it there. Stretch a little bit more, but always wait for your body to tell you when you're ready to go. Now hold your ankles, bring your shoulders back up and over your hips. Let's try that again. Inhale. Exhale as we stretch the arms forward. Separate your hands and reach forward. It's a sense of surging forward from your hips. Holding on to those ankles and pull yourself up nice and tall. Once again, inhale, exhale, turning your palms, big stretch forward, surging from your hips, attempting to keep your back straight so the movement is coming from your hips, holding onto those ankles and reaching up tall. Good. I'm just going to turn to the front now, coming back to your seated cross-leg. Let your knees just release to the floor. This next stretch involves a rotation as well. So you're going to have the palms together, thumbs side by side, your hands are level with the top of your chest. Breathe out and start to gently twist. Now follow those hands of yours around with your eyes so your neck, shoulders become a part of that rotation. Inhale to the center. Straight back. And exhale as we work our way to the other side of the room. Try not to allow the hip to leave its foundation. Inhale to the center. Exhale again. Those shoulders relax and down. Head on top of the spine. And to the center. Again, big stretch as we do another little twist. And back to the center. Now place your hands on the floor. Recross your legs in order to get that evenness through our hips. Here what we're going to be doing is coming forward, so stretch your arms so they resemble an A-frame. Fingertips in contact with the ground, the wrist is off the floor. And then allow your arms to just come forward, and you should feel a nice stretch now working through those hips. Reaching it down, navel to the spine. Bring yourself back up to a seated position. Again, checking that your shoulders are over your hips. Inhale. Moving the body forward as you exhale, let your arms come with you. And as you practice this a little bit more regularly each day, you'll find that freedom will come to those hips. You'll be able to stretch just that little bit further, always with cautious. And coming back to the top. Now let's switch those legs around again. Starting in an upright position. Breathe first, and then breathing out as you stretch forward. Drop the shoulders down so there's no tension through the muscles of the upper body. It's important to maintain flexibility around our hips. They rely on us when we walk. They hold us upright during bending positions. And then coming up. Arms come back to your side. Once again, breathing out and bring those arms forward and reach. Again, watching for that rounding, the collapsing of the spine. Maintain its uprightness. And release. Now let's recross those legs. In this next position, one side of your hip will feel a stronger stretch compared to the other. So we'll bring ourselves forward first. Keep your buttocks down on top of your support. And take both of your hands and walk yourself across to your right side. And as you take yourself to the right, notice how that left hip is stretched even further. Breathe easily. You'll feel a mild tension, but if there's any pain, please pull back or stop entirely. Take those hands across to the left side. And now you should feel a stretch into that right hip. Holding it there. And coming back to the center. Bring your shoulders back upright. I'm going to turn you around again. Take those hands behind you. And as you just lean back continuously, use your arms to help support the body so you're not in this uncomfortable sinking position. So the chest remains up, and then you're going to inhale, lift that chest of yours up. Be careful of the neck that it doesn't just fall back. Breathe out. We're going to catch hold of our thighs and scoop. And arms back to the side again, coming up on the tips of the fingers. Stretch and lift up through the chest. And then gently as we scoop, hollow out through your abdominal muscles. Come right back up again. Take the soles of the feet together. You can start to draw your knees a little closer towards your base. Hold on to the front of the ankles as we use your arms to help pivot the chest forward. And this is going to stretch you out through your groin, your inner thigh, holding those shoulders down. Breathe smoothly here. This is where the static stretching comes into play, that holding position for a short period. Okay. And then bring your knees together and hold yourself upright. We're now moving on to floor stretches, which will involve areas for your legs, such as the hamstrings, as well as your hips. You will also work through a little bit of that lower back, so please proceed with your stretches cautiously, particularly if there's any movement that feels awkward or uncomfortable. Remember, just to ease yourself off, check your alignment, and if it's not suitable for you, avoid this stretch. Let's begin by getting you to lie down onto your back. Here, if you still need a bit of support for your head, use your towel. As we did at the very beginning of our stretches, just allow your body to settle onto the ground first with your knees flexed. Be careful not to have your feet too close to your bottom, as this will cause your pelvis to tilt. Nor are your legs too far away, as it may cause your pelvis to anteriorly tilt the other way, which could send a bit of tension into your lower back. So allow your pelvis just to release slightly. Take a moment for your body to settle, for the muscles to settle over to the curves of the spine. Start by bringing one leg into the chest and allowing the other leg to stretch away and switch over. So we're revisiting some of the stretches we did at the very beginning. Again, holding on to that knee, extending the leg, feeling a nice stretch through that top hip. And last one. And releasing it here. Now we're moving on to the hamstring muscle, those muscles at the back of our legs. Begin by stretching one leg along the floor. Your lower back is grounded. Breathe as you take that leg up. Point the foot and easing it down. So feel like you're drawing a line straight up the wall, up towards the ceiling. Flex it and draw that line back down again. And reach and gently flex through that foot. Point and coming down. You'll also feel some work going on through your hip. Lower back stays down. Stretch. Hold the stretch. Point it and releasing it down. Bring that leg in and allow your pelvis to settle into position. Prep for the other side. And flex gently. You may find this leg a little bit stiffer, as often is the case. Point and releasing it down. We're often tighter on one side of our body compared to the other. Breathe and stretch and lift. Hold that stretch. Point the foot and releasing it down. Again, inhale. Feel the muscles relaxing through that upper part of the body. Exhale. Flex the foot, breathe, your lower back stays grounded. And point, and releasing it down. Okay. Hug your knees in towards your chest again. Now don't be discouraged if your legs doesn't appear to come up as high as I'm demonstrating. A little bit of stretching every day and you'll find that your muscles will respond accordingly. The idea is to go slowly, practice regularly, and the stretches will come. Take your feet down to the ground now. Now it's time for us to move through the sides of the hips. So for this one, you may want to have your arms open just a little bit wider and away from the body. Take your feet slightly apart, a few breaths into position, and as you breathe out, very carefully let your legs come down to one side. Hold that tummy in to stop your back from hyperextending. So this is the shape that we're trying to avoid, that overarching of the back. Instead, pull the stomach muscles inward and then come back to the center. Taking it through the other corner, breathing out, and you feel that hip stretching through the top here. Inhale to the center. And repeat. Exhale again as we go across. Now you may notice your shoulder tends to rise up a bit, particularly if there's stiffness at the front of the shoulders or the side of the chest muscle. And just let that arm come up if necessary. Breathe to the center. And breathing out. No forcing. And inhale to the center. There's a change coming up now. As we go across, we're going to allow that top foot to sweep over our body, bringing that knee to sit right on top of the center of our chest. Coming down. Lower back settling position. Exhale and start to sweep that leg up and over the body. And down you come. So a sense of scooping and lifting your leg off the floor. Exhale, coordinate it so you're breathing out, knee up, and down you come. Once again, ideally you want to try and hold the stretch between 10 to 15 seconds, and holding it there, and to the center. Now if this next one is too strong for you, stay and continue with the variation that you've just completed. As you take that leg up, the opposite arm is going to come behind the knee and hug that leg into the chest. Coming back to the center. The intensity of the stretch will vary from person to person. If you're extremely stiff through your hip and your lower back, you will feel the stretch a little greater through the area of the hip. If you're a little bit more flexible, perhaps not as much. And then inhale. And exhale as we take it across again. Allow your shoulders to melt into the floor, wrapping your arm around the back of that knee, holding that leg in. It's on a zigzag shape, flexed at the knee joint, and coming down. And breathing out gently, draw the abdominal muscles in, scoop the arm behind the knee, and coming back to the center. Remember, during the holding positions, it's important that you don't hold your breath. The breath should be relaxed and flowing smoothly. Here, we're going to tuck your knees in towards the chest, so part of your abdominal muscles will be involved in the stretch. We're going to send our legs straight up towards the ceiling, just off the 90-degree angle. And if anytime you need to hold your legs, just do so. Releasing it down. So the emphasis is on pushing the heels away. So imagine you're holding up the ceiling. Press the front of your thighs towards the back. And coming down. Once again, and we stretch and hold. And releasing it down. Place your feet on the ground. Once again, we're going to work through the inner thigh muscle and into the deep groin area. Open your arms to the side. Soles of the feet together. And if this stretch feels a bit too strong, you can put 2 blankets, one under each thigh, in order to help the knees elevate slightly, just to bring some support and stability across your pelvis. Remain here for a few seconds, open wide. Allow the ribs to soften into the body. Noticing for tension through the neck, shoulders. Take a few deep breaths. And then come back up to the center as you hug your knees once again towards the chest. Wrapping your arms completely around your legs. Flex your feet. And point. And we flex. Medium resistance, remember. And we point. Once again, and flex, and point, and then just release your legs down to the ground and remain grounded for a moment. Give your hips a little bit of a shake. Shake out through your arms, your shoulders. Shake out your thighs, your calves. Take a few deep breaths. Now start to slowly roll yourself over onto your side, completely onto your side. And use your arms to help you into a sitting position. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you are feeling more in touch with your body. Try to include regular stretches into your daily activities. And when you're ready to progress, please join me with Beautiful Stretches Level 2, where we'll start to include some strengthening exercises. See you then.